Hi everybody, it's Coach Tom from LionHeart Academy, and today we're going to be starting our fencing fitness challenge. So we want everyone to be able to stay in shape when we're away from practice. So we're going to have a little challenge between a couple of the San Diego fencing clubs to see who can do the most fitness activities. Each club will be working together to try and do the most repetitions and time of various activities. And I'm going to go through all the activities today and explain them and demonstrate them so that you know how to do them correctly and we're all on the same page. So I'm going to go through each one and I'm going to do 10 or 20 repetitions for the ones that have repetitions. There are some that I'm going to just have to explain, but I'll get there when we get there. So if you want to follow along, that's great. You can make this part of the presentation a workout as well. Since I'm going to be doing the exercises, you can too. I'm just going to jump right into it. If you feel like you need to warm up before you follow along, that's good. Go ahead and pause the video and go run for 10 minutes, jump rope, whatever you need to do, and then come back and join us. So the first activity is squats. So for this one, I know we've done this before, but I'm going to go through it anyway. I want to make sure feet are shoulder width, toes are pointed forward. I'm going to keep my weight on my heels, my hips over my heels. I'm going to go down and up. From the side, I'm going to have my feet nice and even. You see, I'm going to try to get my thighs parallel to the floor before I come up, making sure not to tip forwards onto my toes when I go down. Weight on my heels and squat. So we just go ahead and do 10. Ready, go. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. All right, nice and easy. So for that one, when you record this, you're just going to record the number that you did. And when you enter these numbers into the Google Sheet, it's always going to be a whole number. So you cannot do half a squat. You must, do, say, 10 or 20. You can't do 5.5. And that's true for all of these ones where you're recording the number of reps. The next one is sit-ups. This one's pretty basic, but we're going to start on the floor. And we're going to keep our feet nice and flat on the floor, our knees bent. You can put your hands on your ears, or you can cross them on your chest. What I don't want is your hands behind your head, because you don't want to pull yourself up. You want to use your core. You're going to sit up all the way, up and down, up and down. Now we want to make sure we're getting all the way up. If you only make it halfway, it doesn't count. You can't record it. So I'm going to do 10 good repetitions. Follow along with me if you'd like. Ready? And begin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So for this one, you also, if you need to, you can have someone hold your feet. You don't have to, but you can if you'd like. Next one is push-ups. Many of you have done this before, but we'll go through it anyway. The main thing here is we want to make sure our hands are not too wide. So a lot of people, when they do a push-up, they put their hands, out here. We want to have our hands just outside of our shoulders. So I'm going to go ahead and get down, right? And if you go down to where your elbows are bent at a right angle at 90 degrees, that's enough. That counts. You don't need to touch the floor, but you can if you'd like. I like to go all the way down because I know I'm doing it correctly, but if you only go to 90 degrees, that counts. So we'll go ahead and do 10. Ready, and go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Easy. All right. Next one is planks, which, like the last few, most of you have done before, but I want to make sure everyone's doing it correctly. So once again, we're on the mat. we're on our feet and our elbows, and we want to make sure our back is nice and flat. So we're not pushing our hips up and we're not dipping towards the floor. Our back is nice and flat, and this one goes for time. So I'm going to go for 30 seconds, but when you record this, you're going to record this in minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and start, and you can do this along with me if you'd like. I'm going to keep my back nice and flat like a tabletop, and try to move anything else. This still counts if you want to challenge yourself and go lift an arm or a foot off the floor and try and keep your back straight. That's good too. But we're going to consider this all planks for the purposes of a fitness challenge. It'll all count together. And 30 seconds, so we're going to move on. Next one is side plank. Very similar, it's just a plank on your side. So I'm going to go lay on my side, put my elbow and arm on the ground. I'm going to stack my feet one on top of the other, and I'm going to reach for the sky. And try and make a straight line between my feet and my shoulder, and I'm just going to hold that for however long I'm going to hold it. I'm going to say about 30 seconds right now, and you can join me if you'd like. You can also make this a little harder. You can lift your legs. Sometimes we call this the starfish. You can also take the arm that's up. You can reach down across your body and do a number of reps. But you're always recording the time that you're doing this. So that's 30 seconds. Go ahead, stand up. For the ones where we're recording time, this is important. When you submit the workout that you did, always make sure that you're submitting it in a decimal format. What that means is, if I did 1.5 minutes of planks, I wouldn't record it as 1.5 minutes. I would record it as 1.5. That makes it so that the automated system that we have that keeps track of all this can read your answers, and we don't have to go and fix anything. So just make sure that you put it in as a decimal, 1.5 instead of 1.5. Okay, next one, a little more on the legs, is broad jump. Broad jump is just a standing long jump. So I'm going to start here. My feet are about shoulder width. My toes are pointed forward. I'm going to squat down. I'm going to swing my arms, and I'm going to jump long. Okay, that's it. So that's one rep. So we're going to do it again, and go ahead, squat down, swing my arms, and jump long. Now I have a little bit limited space here, so I'm not jumping as far as I can, but ideally you want to jump pretty far. So we'll go ahead and do 5 repetitions if you want to all follow me. Ready, and begin. So here's 1, and 2, three, and 4, and 5. One important part of that one is when you land, you want to land nice and soft. You don't want to go slam into the ground because you're going to start to hurt your knees. So you're going to land nice and soft and then stand up before you do your next one. Okay, next one. This one's a little complicated, so watch carefully. This is going to be a tricep dip. So the way this works, you're going to have a chair or a bench or a step-up box, and you're going to put your hands on the sides of it and balance on your feet. What you're going to do is you're going to lower yourself down with your arms, down and up. So that's 1. Down and up. There's another one where, like push-ups, if I'm getting to about 90 degrees with my elbows, that's good. And up. Make sure also you're not holding onto the front of the chair, you're holding onto the sides, because if you hold onto the front, the chair could tip and you'll end up on the floor. So we're going to hold on to the sides of the chair, and if you want to follow along, you can. I'm only going to do 5. We'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Nice and easy. All right. Next one is for legs. A lot of us have done this one before, but it's a split squat jump. So that means we're gonna start in a power walk position. Not gonna touch the floor with my back knee. My front knee is over my front heel. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna jump up and I'm gonna switch my feet so I come down on the other side. So I'm gonna jump up and switch. And that's 1. Up and switch. 2. Up and switch. That's 3. And so on. So we'll go ahead and do 10 together. If you're ready, go ahead and go down and start. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. All right, so that's about it for the demonstrations that we're gonna work through. If you wanna go ahead and do those again as your circuit today, you're more than welcome to. But I'll just go through the last couple things that we're recording for our fitness challenge, and then go ahead and be done. So the next thing is miles run or walked. If you go for a run, or you go for a hike, or you go for a walk with your family, that counts. Just go ahead and write down the number of miles that you went, and you're gonna submit that along with the rest of your workout. This is another one where you wanna enter it as a decimal. So if I ran half a mile, I would put 0.5, not 1/2. Or if I ran, say 5 3/4 of a mile, I would put 5.75, not 5 3/4. That way it'll be easier for us to total up. Very similar is miles bicycled. If you like to go for a bicycle ride, you can record that as well. Just make sure it goes in the bicycle column, not the run column, because it's pretty easy to bicycle far more than you could ever run. So we're keeping those separate. The last 2 things are more fencing specific, and that's footwork and hitting the target. And I want to make sure we keep these separate. So footwork, okay, practicing any kind of footwork, whether it's a pattern that your coach gave you, or whether it's what we call shadow fencing, or whether you're just fencing and thinking about what your opponent might be doing and moving. That's all considered footwork time, and you're just gonna put the time. So it's, a minute, or a minute and a half, or 3 minutes, or 10 minutes. However long you worked on footwork, you're gonna put in, right? The other part that's more fencing specific is target hitting time. So I don't have a fencing target here, but we can pretend, right? If I have a hitting board or a dummy in front of me, and I'm practicing making hits straight, by disengage, by counter disengage, with a beat attack, with a parallel post by disengage, right? That's working on target hitting time. Now, if I'm doing that with footwork, if I'm moving around, say I'm doing a getaway go and hitting the target, right? This only counts for target hitting time. It does not also count for footwork, right? So footwork is separate. If you're hitting the target at all, it counts for target hitting time. All right? Those are all of our exercises. But I want to have one final word about recording this. So everybody is on their honor to record only what they did and not record anything they didn't do. You should know that each time you submit your responses and you tell us, oh, you did 10 squats, 20 sit-ups, 5 minutes of side planks, and you ran 3 miles, okay? The coaches can see that submission, and your coaches know you, and they know that you didn't run 20 miles in one day, so you might get a message from your coach about your submissions if you're not being honest. So I recommend, everybody just, do the best you can. Remember that when we're competing against other clubs, all of your work is being totaled up with the work that the rest of your club does, and so you're all working together. And even if you only do a little bit every day, it still counts. So I hope to see many of your workouts being submitted soon as the form goes live, and hope that you can all have a good time competing against each other. Until next time, I'll see you then.